Okay, so I want to walk you through one of the division strategies that we have learned this week. It's a new strategy for us, so if students are still a little uneasy with it, a little unfamiliar with it, that's okay. We're going to keep practicing it more and more. Up until this point in fourth grade, we've been really focusing on the relationship between multiplication and division. So students have been using skip counting a lot to help them with division. Some kiddos are drawing pictures or diagrams to help them, and those strategies are great, they still work. But they're going to find as we are working with larger numbers, the strategy I'm going to show you today is one of the more efficient strategies. And so we're going to be kind of moving to that way to solve division problems. So there is a notes page in every student's math binder that looks like this. It's called My Division Help Sheet. So up top, there's just some important division vocabulary we've been talking about. And then these are the written out steps for what we're calling the Magic 7 strategy, and that's what we're working on. So you can find this in math binders. And on the second page, there is a sample problem that we did together in class, and that's what I'm going to walk you through today. But you're going to see on the paper something called a benchmark box. I'm not going to draw that out for you today, but this is the benchmark box. The problem we're solving is 97 divided by 7. So what I encourage students to think about are all of these different kind of familiar, friendly facts of 7, of whatever number they're dividing by. So you can see there's 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100. Depending on your number, you can even think bigger, 200, 500. But these are numbers that are super friendly to multiply by. They're numbers that they can solve super quickly and mentally. So you can again see kind of how important those math facts are here. So kids can use this step. Some kids are already thinking about these without having to write them out every single time. So this step is kind of optional. It's something that the students can use if they need it. So I set up my problem here. We call it the Magic 7 because there's a big 7 here. So this is a little different than the traditional algorithm that we learned growing up. So instead of thinking how many times does 7 go into 9, that can be confusing for kids as they're first starting to learn what division is. So instead of actually just applying a procedure, we're encouraging them to think more about the groups of 7 being made. So we want to instead think about how many groups of 7 can be taken out of 97. And one way we can do that, I always encourage kids to start by thinking of a multiple of 10. So they might think, well, let's start with taking 10 groups of 7 away. So I would write 10 over here on the side. And 10 groups of 7 makes 70. So that's what we would subtract. And again, that 10 groups of 7, that's a basic math fact for them. They're really familiar with those groups of 10. So that's why I encourage them to start with a multiple of 10 there. So then you go ahead and subtract. So that leaves you with 27. So then you could do several different things here. Some kids might recognize that 3 groups of 7 is what needs to be taken out next because that's the most that you could take away. If kids didn't make that connection, they might start with 2 groups of 7. Either way is fine. I'm going to go ahead and take 3 because that's going to make my work more efficient. So 3 times 7 makes 21. That's what I will subtract. And I think this is just like the example we did in class too. So this is kind of what the kiddos and I walked through too the first time we did this. So that leaves me with 6. And we've talked about when you reach a number that's less than your divisor, less than the number you're dividing by, then we stop. Then there's no more work for us to do. All we have to do is figure out how many groups of 7 we used, and that comes from these numbers on the side. So we used a total of 13 whole groups of 7. And then this is where the remainder comes from. Remainder 6. So if they can get in the habit of using efficient numbers here, the work becomes pretty simple, very efficient. So it's similar to that traditional algorithm, but a little bit different. So that's the magic 7. I'm going to show you one more of these with a 3-digit dividend. So let's take a look at 134 divided by 3. So again, you could start with a number of things here. Some kids are just super comfortable with starting with 10 always, and that's okay. At least as long as it's some multiple of 10 or something that's going to be pretty efficient for them, that works. So they might think 10 times 3, 20 times 3, 30 times 3, 40 times 3. I'm going to start with 40 times 3 because I think that's pretty efficient. So again, in my last video, I talked about this 0, the hero here. So if I imagine that 0 is not there, if I know 4 times 3, then I know 40 times 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. That means 40 times 3 is 120, and that's what I would go ahead and subtract. So now I'm left with 14, and then I just keep repeating that same step. Some kids might start with 4 groups of 3 next. If not, if they want to start with 3 groups, 2 groups, that works. I encourage them to just do whatever is the most familiar for them right now. I'm going to go ahead and start with 4 groups. 4 groups of 3, that's 12. So that leaves me with 2. So again, I always say when you've reached a number that's less than what you're dividing by, then you can stop. And then here are my groups of 3 I made. And then there's my remainder. So that is the magic 7. We'll be working on this strategy a lot throughout the rest of the year. It's a strategy I know they use in 5th grade as well. So it's super helpful for them. I hope this was helpful. I hope this helps you to help your child at home as well and is a good reminder for homework help at home. Thanks so much.